Haim, you wanted the start of the show.
Pack your frizzos. Guys, who here has the cereal All Bran in their house?
No.
You got All Bran?
No.
I've recently got onto the All Bran, and I'm talking not the fun All Bran. There's several. It's been a while since I've.
Yeah, All Bran. If you did Dragon Boating, you had All Bran. That
They would be the chief sponsor. They probably put a big sack at the end. That's why everyone's going so fast. They're all trying to get that barrel of All Bran.
Get to it. You're drumming furiously.
Oh, get that fibre. Yeah, it's definitely targeted at people who
to be a bit more
regularity,
parts of your body close down due to old age. Yep.
digestive regularity. While in your 20s, it's something of you get bemused.
Yes.
You might occasionally be like, "Well, that wasn't a bad one."
Yeah.
But as you get older, it becomes a critical part of aging. Anyway, I've gone. You look into it, like it is. There's not a lot of great ways to get. You can eat vegetables and leafy greens and things like that. But as a way of getting fibre, All Bran, you're like, gee, bang for buck. You get your fibre in there, But they know, All Bran knows, and it's always known, it's the least exciting of all the cereals. It can't be exciting. It's a box of sticks.
Yeah.
And they could even call it a box of sticks, and it wouldn't do much, I think, to damage the brand. It's just not a sexy cereal. Kellogg's.
Yeah. Imagine if you just got the job at Kellogg's. You go,
First day at Kellogg's. Well, what's my portfolio? Come on, Cocoa Pops, because I've got a lot of ideas for that funny little monkey, and I'm going to do some great stuff with this.
Now, we're going to start you off just with All Bran.
No, not the box of sticks. No, nothing you can do with it. Well, funny you mention it, because I reckon that's exactly what's happened with All Bran, right? So we've got the box in the house, and I'm thinking this to myself going, there's nothing you can do with this, really, marketing-wise. But since you and I did marketing at uni, Andy, briefly, it's always sort of in the back of my mind that I go, sliding doors, could have been me. Could have been me with the All Bran account. And I look at the back and I go, what's All Bran? So how do you fill the back of the box? Because on some kids' cereals, they might have a maze or a game or whatever.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff targeted at Dragon Boat races about, regularity and fibre and all the good things fibre does. On the side of the box, this is what caught my attention. They're like, hey, download the VR game, the Kellogg's interactive VR game, and take a journey through the human intestines, right? And it's got a QR code, and it encourages you to download the All Bran VR game. And I thought to myself,
work out. So follow where your brand goes.
No one has ever downloaded this game. This has to be the least played game on the planet.
Yes.
Right? And first of all, you're at the Dragon Boat crowd. They don't understand VR.
Exactly. They also don't understand QR codes. So there's two barriers of entry.
Right. So here's the tricky bit. Yeah. I scan the QR code. It goes, right, pretty simple. Download this file, and then you have to get a separate VR player and then load it onto your headset. I was like, guys, this could be GTA 10 and it would be tough, right? Like this could be a brand new Call of Duty. This is difficult to do. Like you are creating serious barriers to entry here. Anyway, jump through the hoops, go through the rigmarole. Managed to get here I've done it. You've
done it. So you effectively took the fibre
I've got to be one of the
and
only
allowed it to flow through the barriers easily.
I have got to be one of the only people on earth that's experienced this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of, and this is not a surprise, like they're not trying. No one was thinking, hey, you know what? The game's now overtaken the cereal. Ditch the cereal. Again, no one was like, oh, Call of Duty was initially a granola, but the game got so big, we just stopped making the granola. It was doing the franchise then looked after itself. So I don't think there's any risk of that happening here with the All Bran VR game, because it is more of a tour. It's a slightly interactive tour.
Yeah.
I would
so
describe
essentially, if you'd gone onto realestate.com and they give you a 3D walkthrough of the house? That's what's happening?
Just without someone going, it's my absolute pleasure to take you through the small intestine today. An entertainer's dream. Watch out for the poo. No, it doesn't have the intro to the video, but you go in a mini submarine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get shrunk down, and then it's you going through a human's digestive tract.
Right.
To experience, I guess, the good work that all Bran does. I've been able to get select bits, just so no one else has to go through the rigmarole. Got a few select bits here. This is the start where you get into your submarine.
No way! The micro-shrinking actually worked. Oh, I'm Sally, by the way. The one who'll be guiding you through the human gut.
Initiating digestion sequence.
You're going to love this.
No.
So your autopilot, Sally, she's really trying to keep the vibe high, as you can hear. And again, you think game is a bit of a misdirection because immediately you look down and you've got all these controls in the submarine, but you can't use them. Like I was trying to immediately turn the ship around. Like fly, can you fly out? Can you go up the sinuses? Get in the nose? Let's have a peek in the brain. No. Sally's pretty much, she's taking care of the controls. So you can certainly look at the controls.
Yes.
And there are a lot.
Yep.
You know.
You're on a ride, aren't you?
They're not labelled. The controls are also branded Kellogg's. So they can a little sneaky plug in there. There are a lot of controls that don't seem to be being touched by anyone. So you do kind of wonder, what else does this ship do? Where else do we go? But that's just questions, I guess, for the sequel. You go through the small intestines. That's first. I will say slightly educational. You notice that they're sort of like it's kind of like a little coral reef. They're purple. Nodules and stuff. Like I can see from your face, it's not really moving the needle, but it's worth mentioning. Right. So then, probably one of the most dramatic parts of the game/ride is when you go from the border from the small to the large intestine.
Okay.
See that up ahead? That's the valve. The door to the large intestine. Hold on. Holy moly! Oh, I can't look. Oh, we made it. It's a bit dark in here.
Okay. So
which is confusing.
Exciting. Yeah.
It's kind of exciting, but I was confused by this part of the game because in the ride in the small intestine we're using what seems to be like ship-based lights to light up where we're going. Then you get in the large intestine and she's like, "Oh, it's dark in here," but I'm like, but it's dark in the small too. It's not dark.
They don't have
corridor fluorescence. Very rarely do you see someone get sliced in half and beams of light coming out their stomach because we've all got fluorescence in our small intestine.
That's true.
So I kind of put that. I'm like, look, if you're not going to let me in controls, that's your job to turn the torches on.
Yep. And also, if you didn't make it, when she's really worried, oh gosh, I'm glad we made it. It's like, big problem because I think everything goes through there pretty, normally.
Yeah, again, that would be a real confusing one for like a surgeon to pop the camera down and go, "You've got a tiny submarine stuck in the valve. You haven't eaten all Bran lately." Dude.
Okay,
you're in the large. This is where it gets into gameplay and you can interact. You're able to shoot all Bran at again. I can't believe we've gone from frisbee golf to so far today's show has just had a lot of Andy staring at me nonplussed. Yeah. And I don't think this will plus you. You shoot all Bran at bad bacteria. Here's a moment from the heat of battle.
Emergency. Bad bacteria overload.
Huh? There seems to be more bacteria than usual. The good bacteria are so hungry they've eaten the mucus layer that protects the gut wall. Good thing we prepared some fiber ammunition earlier. Let's get feeding. Initiate fiber feeder. Ready? Aim. Fiber! Nom nom nom.
Good pun.
Good ready aim fiber. I mean, it's a lot of work that's gone into getting that pun away. So I think by this stage you're like, all right, we've had this. I've got it. Like, what's the conclusion? Like, it's not a speed run for people that game. Like, that's obviously where you go through the level as fast as you can. You can't really speed run it because you are going at one pace.
All right.
But you do get excited to go, wow, on my first try at this game, I'm going to clock it. Like, I haven't been killed. The bad bacteria didn't get me. I made it through the valve. I can't believe I'm going to clock it. And, for anyone that's familiar with the digestive system, like, you know what the final scene is. But in case you're not, here it is.
Now, you might be wondering how you're going to get out of here. Well, there's only one way out.
Now approaching rectum.
It's going to be a bit of a squeeze.
Again, it is a bit of a squeeze, but I hope not, because you're a microscopic submarine. So if you are squeezing out a microscopic submarine, that is a tight rectum, is it not?
Exactly. That's a worry.
It shouldn't be a squeeze if you're microscopic. It should be kind of a, if it's time to go, you shouldn't even really notice the edges. Anyway, I probably won't play again.
Team, there's an aspect of this show. There's plenty of aspects of the show that I love. You?
Appreciate that.
Jack?
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of Jack.
The bell. The bell.
You like the bell? Yeah.
I like
Bell's good.
The bell.
We don't talk about the bell very much.
We don't talk about the bell very much.
But it's basically the fourth co-host.
But when we get to the end of a topic, or I get bored of one.
You have become the bell guy, and I'm
used
fine
to both
with that.
have a bell.
I used to even have a bell right at the start.
We all had bells at the start.
I lost my bell. Andy probably knew that was going to happen, Jack, that you and I would misplace or lose interest in the bell.
Yes.
And it just sort of gravitated well that Andy's gone, well, I'll keep my bell and I'll bring it every show and I'll be the bellman.
And I just felt like it's so great. We all abide by it. Like as soon as the bell goes, sometimes we come back, but on the most part we go, okay.
I'm happy to respect the bell.
Yeah. And I wondered how good this would be in real life if we had a bell to get us out of boring conversations that we end up having with people and if it would work.
Dream of a bell.
So I tried it. I think it did work. Might be a new product for the Hamish and Andy store.
New to the Hamish and Andy store, alongside a few must-be-nice hats left in the warehouse, comes a product you simply can't go without. The wind-up bell. Made from the cheapest metal available, this bell can get you out of any conversation you can't be bothered being in. Like hearing about the gardening while on the phone to your mum.
The gardeners came on Thursday to do their mow and blow, as Susie calls it. But that's okay. They did that. And it was, that's the day it was 40. Actually, when was it 40? Yesterday, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah. Or the day before, yeah. Whichever day it was. They were here.
Oh, sorry, Mum, the bell's gone off, so I better go.
You go. Okay, bye, darling.
What about your dad giving you live commentary of what's around him?
Kids busy on the iPad. We've just fed Bran. Tammy's busy on the computer. Mum's busy talking to Bev.
Oh, yes.
And I'm trying to keep up with throwing a lot of...
Sorry, Dad, my bell's gone off. I've got to go.
Okay,
bye.
Radio. See you soon. Bye.
The wind-up bell is perfect if your partner thinks you care about the latest pop gossip.
8 years ago, it was rumoured that Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles and M. Ryder had a threesome when Harry Styles and Olivia were dating.
Right.
They were videoed by, I think it was like an older brother's fan.
Sorry, the bell's gone off. I've got to run.
What?
I've just got to go. The bell's gone. Okay, bye.
If a telemarketer calls, you know what? You've got that bell.
This is James from Victoria Energy Upgrade, and we're upgrading your old exhaust fan by installing a brand new draft stopper inside them. Absolutely free. So, do you have an exhaust fan at your home?
Sorry, my bell's gone off. I better go.
Oh, you have to go.
Yeah, the bell. Can you hear the bell? The bell's just gone off, so I better go.
Okay. Should I call you back later?
Nah. Thanks, mate. Bye.
Bell.
And for those daily occurrences where Podcast Mike, for no reason whatsoever, starts telling you about his favourite Pokemon.
Mewtwo? He's like a big kind of bipedal sort of cut kind of thing with a long tail.
And the story behind him is that he was a clone of another Pokemon called Mew. So he's Mewtwo. And he was cloned by an evil organization to try and help take over the world.
Sorry, mate. My bell's gone off. I've got to run.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Was this a bit?
What? Bye.
It's perfect. The Hamish and Andy wind-up bell. To purchase yours, all you have to do is... sorry, gotta go.
Man, of everyone involved, basically the Lee family were the ones that obeyed it the most. Yeah. It's genetic. Your mum and dad gave extreme legitimacy to the bell. Yeah. Everyone else just went... What do you mean the bell's gone? That is not a rule in real life.
Well, we could make them available.
Got to go fully for it.
Hey, haven't played this for a while. I've missed it, so let's get into it.
Chitney with your best chat. Natter away.
Chit Chat Champion.
If you think you're the best at small talk, we've got an arena for you to show your skills.
And boy, oh boy, don't a lot of people think they're the best at small talk. And we put it down to the fact that when you listen to this, it's got to be the most commonly thought, I could do that.
Yep.
I could do that. Like some of the special skills, you're not going, I could name every Oscar winner in every category.
Exactly.
That's not one that you often go, I could do that. But with Chit Chat Champions, there is a real element going, I could do that. But as we know, on the big stage, the pressure can be immense.
If you're a new listener, welcome by all means. We always suggest you go back to the start. But the way this works is we will start a conversation between Hamish and I, and then it's the job of the contender to jump in with the next line of conversation. They cannot ask a question.
Yep.
They just have to keep the conversation ball in the air.
It's the hardest kind of chat. This is probably what we don't highlight enough because we do, obviously, Ando, you know, to make it fair between both contestants, we know what we're about to say.
We say they give them the exact same conversation.
So they have the exact same data. We do make it, you know, it's a high pressure conversation to enter because you can't help but feel like it's not even chit chat. It's coming into a conversation to try and make a good impression with your first move. That is a hard thing to do, especially when we take away the advantage of questions.
Exactly. Phoebe joins us. Phoebe, ahoy to you.
Ahoy, boys. How are you?
Phoebe, well, you reached out to us, HamishAndy.com, and said that you would like to participate in Chit Chat Champions. What makes you a good small talker?
Okay, well, I am the youngest of 4 girls, so a lot to chat to, had to make my presence known as the 4th child. And I'm also an OT student, an occupational therapy student, so lots of chat going on.
Yeah, that's true. So a lot of new, and then when you get into occupational therapy, you know, new patients all the time. So a lot of small talk, And
a variety of patients, I'd say. So you can go old, you can go young, males, females.
Exactly.
Yeah, got to play the full spectrum.
I'm ready for anything, really.
When you're the youngest sibling, though, is that chat or are you asking a lot of questions and trying to weasel into a lot of situations?
Like Jack, I'm a bit of a weasel when it comes to a lot of things. Got to fight for, it's really like fighting to, you know, have the first shower, be at the front have the front seat of the car.
Fight for every corn chip sponsorship.
Exactly.
I think a weasel is a fighter. Well pointed out, Phoebe.
Phoebe, thank you. Against Phoebe today is M. M, ahoy to you.
Ahoy, boys.
M, what makes you great at small talk?
Well, funnily enough, I'm actually a healthcare worker as well. I'm a midwife. So I think that, Phoebe and I have a lot in common. And I'm the youngest of 5, but I have 4 older brothers.
You're an accoucheur.
Yes, an accoucheur, that's correct.
That's how you say it.
We were wondering.
A little bit of a flair in the pronunciation there, but
accoucheur, it was tough. I looked at it and I was trying to go phonetically. Yeah, okay. Would that have helped Jack or Haim if I'd said accoucheur? Would you have known what I meant?
Mate, I know what that is. Yeah, everyone knows what an accoucheur is.
All right. We're going to put M on hold. And we'll start with Phoebe. You'll both get the exact same conversation. Your job is to feel it out, see when you jump in. Can't ask a question, but continue the conversation. You ready to go, Phoebe?
Yeah.
Good luck. Hey, Em.
Hey, mate.
Just wondering, did you end up buying that compound bow?
Not yet. Want to make sure I get the right one, the right brand.
Yeah, brands are always a iffy thing because like, you don't want, so I'm always a bit of a cheapskate and I want to get something that's not going to be as expensive, but like, I still want it to be good.
Yeah.
So I really get that because you don't really want to buy a bad brand. I've got, yeah.
Maybe. How'd you feel like you went?
Good.
No, probably, yeah, not the greatest.
Well, I mean, Phoebe, when I ask you that question, you can jump straight in and you're back to talking normally, but it seemed like you were answering in a Miss Universe competition about a question of world peace that you have no idea about.
I'll tell you what,
I had to kind of figure out what a compound boat was.
Yes, that is tough.
Like,
yeah.
I know that Ham likes camping, so I was like, probably a bit like that.
Yeah, hunting, camping. Yeah. I suppose it's that thing where you go, we all know saying nothing is bad. So the opposite of that is getting a lot of words in the air. Yeah. Just start getting them out there and then maybe assemble them into a thread. And I think that's what you were trying to do. And I think you did great. You probably just
seemed like a long sentence to me.
Covered off. Yeah, in a long sentence, you basically communicated the idea that good brands are good, bad brands are bad, wasting money is bad, getting good value is good.
No, you're not wrong. No,
you're actually not wrong. So you do get points for that. Well done.
Phoebe, there's always two competitors. You've registered your go. Let's put her on hold and bring back Em. Em, you there?
I am, yep.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, good luck. Hey, how are you?
Oh, hey, Ando.
Mate, just wondering, did you end up buying that compound bow?
Not yet. Still shopping around. Want to get the right one, the right brand.
Guys, I know that we just met, but I've got a confession for you. I actually don't know anything about compound boys, but I'm eager to learn. You know what? Like, do you have anything that you want to share?
I mean, who does have a question at the end? This is interesting. I think. Brave to acknowledge you knew nothing about it. And I think that's when people sometimes get stuck. They feel like they have to add where you can. It's okay in a conversation to go, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Just chronic honesty, hey guys. Gotta put it out there.
Hey, no, it can only be honest. So no one can have a go at you for being honest.
Oh, that's
certainly bubbly. Certainly bubbly.
I mean, right until the question. The question's the only thing where there's a bit of a flag on the play and now the refs are looking at it. Jack,
we'll bring
you're always...
A question. You can't.
I think we have to disqualify him.
On a technicality.
I think your entry was better, but Phoebe, miraculously, you have taken out.
Love that for me.
This is the best Stephen Bradbury type win of all time.
I can't wait to listen to Phoebe's.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen to it back.
I hope you've got some time.
Oh, gosh.
Put aside an Arvo.
Thank you guys so much for playing.
Well done,
Phoebe,
guys.
we're going to
Loved it.
send you a token of no value, of course, for taking away the win. We don't attribute any value to it at all, but you're welcome to.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Ando, this is a time-specific one.
Yeah.
Usually it doesn't matter when you listen to the podcast, but I feel like I have to timestamp this because today's Thursday, right? Heading into this weekend. It's drop day, podcast drop day.
Yes.
Heading into this Friday, which is tomorrow, is I've got to make Sonny's birthday cake. And this is cake week.
Is
Haven't
there
slept.
thinking about it, or have you done anything?
No. So
have you done
this
anything
year is a little
yet?
bit different. Yes, I have. I've run a test.
Right. I mean, for new listeners, welcome. But Hamish has a broad history now of trying to make. Well,
this is my 6th year.
He certainly doesn't bake a cake. He constructs it out of.
This is my 7th year of making. Through blood, sweat, and tears,
constructing
and sometimes Lego.
Constructing a cake from delivered pieces of bakery.
Well, you don't. The builder does not need to make his shovel for the whole to count. You are allowed to use tools, some things that have been pre-assembled to put together a finished product.
Would you agree, though, Jack?
Majesty.
The cakes are
They're
much
amazing.
better.
They're so good.
You're very good.
Let us not forget how much we celebrated when I made what is essentially a red oblong.
Yeah.
When it was the original cake. So his 3rd birthday. We're now, this is the 7th year. This is his 9th birthday.
Is he still into it?
Yeah.
Right.
But now but obviously the mood changes from a 3-year-old to you don't think about who's making your cake to now he's aware, that's become a fun tradition in the house. But now it's become, because the challenge is, hey, whatever you say, and now it always has a moving part.
Yes.
Whatever you say, Dad has to make it. So now, of
the
course.
original was, of course, the Cars trailer with an edible hinge.
Yep. the back of the semi-trailer opened up, and there was a Matchbox car in the back, which at the time we thought was cutting-edge technology.
What's this year?
Okay, here's where we're at. Usually a day or two out, I'll get the brief. This time, it's been a week.
He's come to a week out.
He's come to a week out, and it just was clear what it was going to be because for the last 2 to 3 months, he's been heavily into Rubik's cubing. Okay, wow. He's been cubing. It's big at his school.
Yep.
When we're away on the holidays, we're just cubing.
Yep.
I learned how to do the cube with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cubing.
You're cubing.
I'm terrible. I'm basically cubing as just a sacrificial lamb so that he can laugh at me and feel good about his time.
Is he better at cubing than you?
He's smoking me.
Right.
Jack, you can cube, can't you, Jack?
I'm a slow cuber as well, but still your complete cube is a complete cube.
That's true. I remember back in the day, and that's what I try and tell her, hey, we're all on the cube team here. We're not all speed cubing.
Yep.
Anyway, Rubik's Cube has become huge. So it was probably clear from a month out, because generally the cake represents like what fad is happening at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be cube based.
Yep.
So Sonny was like, Dad, I've been thinking, what about a Rubik's Cube cake? And I go, yeah, okay. I thought this could be coming up. This was about a week or 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went, but it moves.
Yeah, fully working is hard.
And I went, geez.
Wow.
Three layers. He goes, no, all the pieces move. Solvable cake.
Impossible.
Well, not all edible.
Solvable cake.
So that can't be. I mean, it is impossible, but also it's very much impossible if you're going for all edible.
Oh, not even close. Yep. Not even close. I gave up on all edible years and years ago.
Yes.
Once Lego started sneaking in,
yes,
then you start to go, okay, how do you make a fully articulating Rubik's Cube? So the first thing I did, had a little Rubik's Cube key ring at home that had broken. And so I started looking on the inside of the cube and I go, okay, this is how they make them. It's quite complicated in there. There's 27 pieces plus the core piece of the cube. Here's my thinking. We find the design for a Rubik's Cube, a 3D printable Rubik's Cube. Mm-hmm. We then hollow out, like you just essentially make the skeleton of the cube. So the plastic bits move around. Then I will make each cube out of cake or edible material. So the cube, my vision for the cube aesthetically is it's on a stick with a base plate. So it's sort of like a foot off the ground.
Yep.
Behold the Rubik's Cube cake. Mm-hmm. There might be space underneath for a 9 made out of actual cake if we want to do some cutting up just for ease.
Yes.
But that's what, you like vision-wise, it's a it's a cube floating in the air on a stick. Now, of course, when you start rotating the pieces, you're going to take a piece of cake that was on the top and rotate it upside down, and that's going to slide off. Like, that's how it falls out. So every face of it could end up being underneath the cake during the solving of the cake.
Yes.
So every face has to resist gravity, has to be able to hang in there. This is where it gets tricky. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I was like, let's start with the skeleton first, right? We sit down, we come up with the design. He's like, yeah, this should work. And I'm like, remember, like, we got to try and find a way for this not to all fall apart. He's like, well, let's just print the cube first and we'll just see if it works. Mm-hmm. It quickly becomes apparent that it's like, A, going to take way too long, and B, we don't really have the skills. So we go on YouTube.
So how long, just quickly... So you obviously didn't...
For a small piece, remember there's 27 of these, it was going to be like 6 hours per piece.
Right, so you press go, cracked a beer, and you're just sitting there, and he's going, why are you standing around?
So in my head, it was like the Jetsons where you press and go, and there's a cloud, and the smoke dissipates, and it's made. It is not that. Mm-hmm. So then we go on YouTube, and we find Australia's greatest 3D printing genius. Okay. His name's Angus. He's from a website called Maker's Muse. He's got a YouTube channel. So I start harassing him online and I can't get in contact with him. So it's real. Now the clock is ticking down. Luckily, like last Friday, he's like, oh man, I never check these emails yet. Because I was like begging with him, please, me and my brother-in-law, this is what we're trying to do. We really need your help. He goes, Sounds really weird, but yes, I think I know what you're saying. And because he'd made a Rubik's Cube before, but he'd never put the design online. Anyway, he shares his state secrets with us.
Right.
Juz and him sort of get together and they're colluding. And I was like, let's blow it up though. Like, we want to make it big.
Yeah.
Yesterday I got the pieces, right? They're massive.
How big?
I thought I would have these a week ago to run a test. Because what I'm actually going to do is it's not going to be cake in there. It's going to be the marshmallow and rice bubble mixture, right? Like a Rice Krispie, which is very legal in the baking world. That counts as cake.
Okay.
So it's fully edible, the cube, except for the plastic shell. But
So hang on, the plastic shell's on the outside.
the plastic shell's on the inside, then the cake's on the outside. So the plastic shell is sort of like it's hard to describe, but it's the interior of the cube, and then I'm packing the exterior with rice bubbles and marshmallow.
I get
Right.
you.
Yep.
So
Do you know what I mean?
sticky
And then-
substance on the outside of the cube. Yeah.
Then, so that whole cube volume is made of rice bubbles and marshmallow,
Yes.
which I put in as a lump. Then when it sets, my plan is to shave it perfectly on the outside into the shape of the cube.
Yeah.
I then ice those. I've got to make 27 individual ones with the correct colors, click it all together. That's your cake. That's the theory. Here's the really tricky bit. Because I'm doing this all on WhatsApp, and the kind of the printing geniuses, I left them to kind of do it. I'm not really needed in that chat.
No.
They've nailed the printing part. Like Maker's Muse, my brother-in-law, they're very good 3D printers. The tricky part is this is a big cube.
How
And
big?
I did a test last night with a corner piece because I was like, I've got to do a test before cake night. If this doesn't stick, do you know what I mean? Like
Yes,
if this
yeah,
mixture,
yeah.
if you turn this upside down, it just slips out.
Yep.
Like, honestly, full disclosure, I'm also in my mind, I'm like, this easily could, like, there are several parts of this where it's like, it's just all over. I've got another cake standing by that could just be a sorry cake. Like for Sunday, it's just literally just a round cake that says happy birthday. And I'm so sorry. And I tried. So I did a test last night. Have a guess how much weight, how much volume of marshmallow and rice bubbles needs to go in each one of the 27 cubes.
Well,
Wait, are you trying to make it the size of so bigger than a normal Rubik's Cube, obviously?
Each component, each little cube is bigger than a normal Rubik's Cube.
That's way too big.
I know. I know.
too big.
Well, I didn't get a chance to see it, Jack, because I just said to them, seems awesome, guys. Then they showed me footage of it being printed. I was like, man, look at it go. And I actually didn't see it till it was printed out yesterday. And I went, this is a big cube and this is going to be full of cake. Each one, by my estimates, there's going to be over 5 kilograms of marshmallow in there.
In each cube?
No, in the whole cake.
Okay.
There's 250 grams of marshmallow and rice balls in each cube.
That's wild.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's way too
Because in
much.
your head you go, yeah, rice bubbles, very light. But it all kind of melts down and it's pretty dense.
So
that's where
what's
I'm
your
at.
plan?
Well, the plan is you make them first. Yep. Like I'll have to create the cubes first, put them in the freezer. Then I was actually speaking to Scotty Cam. He hasn't got back to me yet, but I texted him before because I was like, mate, I'm going to have these like globulous rice bubble marshmallow things. What tool exists where I could shave this away? I said, like, I have an electric chainsaw, like from our Makita sponsorship.
Yeah.
Brutal.
But it feels like it's just going to get clogged and jammed up with marshmallow and rice bubbles.
Yes.
And I also just, I'm not a massive nerd about safety, but it just doesn't feel right to be using a chainsaw in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like if Zoe walks in and I'm using a chainsaw in the kitchen, that's going to be on me if an accident happens.
There's heated rods for foam.
This is what I'm thinking of a heated rod or a heated hacksaw blade.
Yep.
So I freeze them down and I just, anyway, it depends what Scotty comes back with, but he's working on it for me at the moment. I would have, now that I realise the undertaking of this, I would have loved to be at this stage 1 week ago.
Yeah.
Just to understand if the basic physics work. As it stands, we're still 4 pieces short for the cube, but I've got it on good authority. They'll arrive this afternoon or tomorrow morning. So tomorrow night, I will be ready to attempt this. But even last night's test with one like lumpy corner,
and
it took nearly an hour. This morning I went to the fridge, it holds upside down. How long it will last for, we don't know.
So you've got potentially 27 hours.
Yeah, I've got to sharpen that up though. I've got to think of a faster way to do it. Yep. The other thing is, in my head it was so clean. When you're working with this marshmallow rice bubble stuff, it is everywhere. And the cube only rotates, like the cube operates on smoothness.
Are you
like
doing this in your kitchen at home?
Yes.
Zoe would be hating this.
Yeah.
So you got that against you as well.
Yeah. And she saw me doing the test last night and she said, oh, you're not doing that, not again. Like the marshmallow.
Yep.
I don't want this one because I've used it before. It's not a fan favorite.
No, with the marshmallow rice mix, how often is that finished with people eating it?
All the time. Yeah. Big, like one of the more famous, I was looking at someone on YouTube last night, made a big SpongeBob square pants cake with it. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, people love it. Absolutely love it. It's a delicious treat, especially 5 kilograms of it for the 8 children. You know, I have to tell them to really, okay, guys, there's only 400 grams of marshmallows each. And if you're hungry, you know, have a banana because there's only, there's only half a kilo each for you in this cake.
Good luck, man.
Mate,
we're here for you.
In the words of Jack, it does feel impossible at this stage. But the joy on Sonny's face when, you know, he's trying to rotate this thing around and it's all falling apart and it's
on his
solid.
On his 20th birthday when you finally finished.
Happy 21st, mate.
Haim, cake update, please. I mean, we've seen it on your Insta. It was a phenomenal, amazing
We got
cake.
there. We got
amazing
the
cake.
cube, and shout out to, I had a lot of help on the cube from 3D printing experts, my brother-in-law, me as well. Shout out to me, like the whole team, the whole team that got that 3D cube together. But the Rubik's Cube cake for my son this week has been completed.
It looked fantastic. Go to Haim's Instagram, just check it out. But Haim, how was it received?
That's the
reception's
thing I didn't put up. It all was worth it so the point of this cake, for those that aren't aware and didn't see it, it was a number 9. That's pretty simple. Number 9 out of cake. Coming out of the circle of a 9 was a bit of 20 mil wooden dowel that was wedged and glued into some 20 mil MDF chipboard. Bloody solid. And then mounted on that was a Rubik's Cube, a giant Rubik's Cube. It was about 24 centimeters per side. The reason I'm giving you the dimensions is I know them very intimately now.
No, that helps. Last time we were just talking about it like as big as a head or something. And it was
So 240 by 240 by 240 is the cube.
Yeah.
And the idea of that 3D printed internals on the plastic cube was then I built the cake into that, which is like 28 little cubelets. You then it could rotate around. So then it could be solved like a Rubik's Cube. Now, in my head, it seemed very easy. Before doing the cake, I was just saying, I was like...
Well, you had a good frame, didn't you?
Got the frame. This is all just squares. This is just squares. I mean, this might be too easy, this cake, because it's just square assembly, just cubes and squares, baby. Yeah. The thing that I didn't realize is it just really took a while. And, of course, you hit snags. Do you know what I actually think? And I'm not trying to put myself on the same level here. But when, like, I look at so many snags that I hit making the cake. Like the thing started falling apart at 2 a.m. I had to go outside and into the cold night air to try and re-solidify the cake and had to cake it outside on the deck with the possums pissing on me. And these are all the things you don't expect to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then you're like, oh, actually this black icing is just getting everywhere. And then that's getting on all the other little icing cubes. The thing that keeps going through my mind when I'm just trying to make a Rubik's Cube birthday cake is I go, how does anything complicated get made? Because this isn't really that complicated. Like, I was thinking about SpaceX a lot. And I was like, those guys, because that's at the other end of the scale. I'm not saying me and SpaceX are doing the same thing, but I'm just like...
times they've had to head outside because
the rocket was getting hot.
Something similar.
The rocket was melting.
Similar, mate. It would. When you're boldly going into... no one's ever made a cube cake before.
Yeah.
And when you go into...
over there. Maybe it would be. Maybe a bandicoot.
But they blow up, Haim. That's the thing.
That's exactly
SpaceX doesn't get it right. And you did.
Your words, Jack. Now that is a great T-shirt.
SpaceX blow up.
SpaceX doesn't get it right, and you did. Jack Post to me.
How was it received? First, a question we always ask: how much of the cube was eaten?
All the corner pieces were carved off. Now they are heavy in sugar. The kids went absolutely mental.
And were they enjoyed?
They were enjoyed. They really kids. Once they realized they could solve and eat the cake. But I mean, the highlight of the birthday was, you know, we were at like a kid's birthday venue, room packed full of 9-year-olds just chanting "Solve the cake, solve the cake."
And how many twists was required to solve it?
I scrambled it up so there's only a few twists required because I didn't want to scramble it so much that it was unsolvable.
Yes.
Because
if Sonny's sitting there for a couple of days as the kids slowly lose the voice of their chant.
Put him in a cool room, the cake's melting. So, but that's the thing, unfair though, because the cake's on a pole. And the pole came up into the center bottom piece, center white piece. So normally when you solve a cube, you can twist it around your hand. So it's hard to do when it's like locked into position.
And big.
That's getting too deep into the weeds on cubing tactics, but that's why I thought I'd make it a bit of an easier solve. Anyway, solve the cube, huge cheer, brought the house down. Then all the kids wanted to tear the cube apart, and that's what it was there for. That's when you're like, this has all been worth it, right? One thing I did love, though, this is, I feel like I've got to give a little shout out here. I would like to give a shout out to the listeners of the Hamish and Andy podcast, because as we you and us three all know how much we love our listeners. There was a great moment on Instagram, right, where the day before, had put up the like a little video, like a reel going, okay, here's what we're going to try and do tomorrow night.
Yep.
In the comments, right, so I'm explaining, like, there was a picture of the cake and it was quite elaborate. In the comments, there's just a bloke that's like, mate, what's wrong with going to bloody Woolies, getting a sponge and just chucking a handful of Maltesers on it, okay? Right, so you're trying to do a bit of like, this is too fancy.
Yeah.
Comment comes up going, and see, he's spelt Maltesers with an A.
Yeah.
First comment comes up and goes, what's Maltesers? And the next comment goes and going, Maltesers? Never heard of them. Right. Then the guy comes back and he goes, what are you talking about? They're those chocolate, the crunchy balls. You can get them from supermarkets. You can get them from the movies. Yeah. And everyone's like, what? Maltesers? They're like, they sound ridiculous. And this goes on and on and on. Then someone comes in and puts this guy up. He's like, how have you guys not heard of Maltesers? Someone comes in there like, hang on, do you mean Maltesers? And they're like, yeah, Maltesers. Like, oh, you mean Maltesers? There's no A in Maltesers. And then he comes and goes, oh, Jesus Christ! All right, the grammar police are here. Grammar police. This is so good. This is 20 comments deep. This poor bloke having no idea what's going on. And a couple of weeks ago on the show, I took it upon myself as a public service to read out some sightings that people have made of you in the wild, some genuine Andy sightings. Now, they are they're genuine. People, I don't think people would lie. They're taking the time to sit down and write out was often, to be fair, a traumatic experience for them. So
a lot of people lie.
Well, that's a shame, Ando, because I actually don't think our listeners are like that. And I appreciate them sharing, to be honest, and the vulnerability and the courage it takes to share something that, again, can't be easy for a lot of people to share. Now, I can't get to all of them. I'm just going to pick a few at random here. Okay, Ando?
Are these people that have written in?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's hundreds, well, dozens that have written in with live Andy Lee sightings.
Producers.
Okay, this comes in from Dunk. Hey guys, just flagging an Andy sighting. Okay, and it's sort of like I guess it's like a community service. Like if you see something, say something. I was desperate for a gasper and went to the local choke stick shop in Norwood, South Australia. They were about to close, and there was a small crowd, so I went to push my way in. But as I approached the door, I was throttled by a red-faced and sig-horny Andy. As he barreled through me and bought the last vape in the store. I just thought the people should know. Now, I appreciate that.
I don't appreciate.
I've not heard sig horny before. That is why I got to run.
I don't appreciate the misinformation being spread about me smoking, because I was on a flight back from Perth to Melbourne the other day.
Oh,
and at the start, where
please.
Where they say, all toilets are fitted with smoke detectors, so the use of cigarettes or e-vapes is strictly prohibited. A lady turned to me with high eyebrows and went,
still time to hop
just
off.
a little nod.
Still time to get off and catch the bus if you want, mate. They stop regularly for a smoke.
So anyway, I'll challenge that.
This comes in from, and I hope it's he doesn't mind me saying his full name, but he's included it. So Simon Piera. I was recently out in Sydney on Oxford Street. It was a night out and I had quenched my thirst throughout the night, so consequently I went to the men's bathroom to relieve myself. I started my stream, and about 15 seconds later, a taller presence appeared over my shoulder to use the urinal next to me. There was a small partition to block the lower glance, but I did the obligatory side facial glance, and wouldn't you know it, it was one Andy Lee next to me. About 30 seconds later, Andy left the urinal stall. Ah, yes, the old inferior penis, I said. Andy, now at the basin, said, F off, mate. Come and say that to my effing face.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, Jack. Alas, still holding a steady and superior stream, I could not turn around to face the man at risk of flooding the bathroom. Andy made a quick exit as I continued holding my penis. That's from Simon Piera.
Well, this one doesn't stack up. This one doesn't stack up on a few grounds.
He said it, Maze. I don't think Simon Pierre is going to sit down at the computer and write out a lie.
Is because I've got inferior flow.
Yeah.
It's slow release because I don't have the power. There's no way he could have started and me started and finished inside. If he had left and I'd walked out half an hour later or something, that would have been a more accurate representation of my flow. And hence, we could have had that argument after that where I would have sworn him
red-faced.
But I think that one's false.
Do you really? Because I sort of read the subtext there as him saying perhaps you panicked and nothing came out.
Well, I haven't been to Sydney this year. The other part that might have him mistaken me for another.
I know for a fact you have been to Sydney, and I worry, because we hung out, so I worry that you're just now telling so many lies they're coming second nature to you. I worry you've got your iron, your lie iron, and now they're just rolling out of the middle. Oh, we remember now, do we? Yeah, I know you did, mate, because you did a wee next to Simon Piera. Here's another. This
is the last one.
Okay, yeah. This one, now they're all real, but this one I think is actually the realest.
Okay.
This actually, Jack, like, you know, again, not questioning any of the others. Yeah. They're fact, as far as I'm concerned. You say it, we read it, that's fact. How's this then? It comes in from Liv. Jack, I want you to be a bit of a judge here.
Okay.
Guys, hope this falls on the right side of the fence. I've got some weasel activity to report. Good news, Jack, you're safe.
Like it so far.
Last year, I gave a very high-quality, one-of-a-kind cap to Andy to be used for Tell Us Someone We Haven't Thought in a While.
Yes.
It was from our cafe. It was with the promise for it to be used in the segment.
This is a real one.
Months go what's that?
This is a real one.
Yeah, months go past.
The banana.
Multiple episodes have come and gone, and still no mention of the hat. So imagine my surprise when none other than Andy Lee waltzes into my work wearing the hat our cafe donated to the show. That's all of our hats, Jack.
That's a show hat.
That's a show hat.
Yes.
Right? Yep. I called him out on it, and he claimed, quote, me wearing the hat adds more value. He then tried to bribe me with a Hamish and Andy hat, of which I would own half. Months passed, still no mention, still no Hamish and Andy hat. Yeah. Hamish and Jack, I trust this will be dealt with accordingly. Andy, what do you have to say? This is for yourself.
From Liv. I saw Liv this morning as I had my my scrambled eggs from.
Well, you're enraging her with your continued hat theft.
We hadn't played. We hadn't played. Tell Us Someone
played. No, I don't even know if Sydney's a city.
But that is absolutely guilty as charged.
Well,
and,
unfortunately, now that Andy's heard this, you can expect a red-faced Andy Lee to come in and throttle you and tell you to F off and mind your own effing business. We know what he's like in public.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Liv.